we will see initially we would start with the overview, okay, overview of integration and reporting. And we will later on we will go ahead and see what are the different types of standard reports, custom reports, how do we modify the reports, how do we add report tags, how do we create a report, okay, in custom. When it comes to custom report, this is where we will be creating the reports. Okay, here is where we will learn about different reports, how to view it, what are the different actions, uh, all that we would be seeing under reports. And then we will see about custom reports, its data sources and business objects, which is very important. We will try to understand the data source, the business objects, how and which business object or data source to use. How do we swap between the business objects and the data sources? Well, not the data source, but business object. How do we swap between the business objects in one single report? When we create a custom report, how do we use various types of business objects, primary or related business objects? While creating a report, we also have an option to do sorting and filtering. Okay, how do we filter the required and necessary data? We would go ahead and see that in sorting and filtering and adding work tags or report tags. How do we do prompting? How do we add prompts? You know, when we run a report, there is always a prompt which is added. Prompt as in something which will filter the data when in the running time itself. Say once you run a report, or you say in a simple language, once you launch a report, okay, saying that okay, I want worker data of this particular organization. Okay, there are like 1,000 people working in one company, and you want to know their personal information. So when you run the report, before it launches, before it shows up the report, it will ask you to select any specific information, any filter which you want to add. For example, I want to see worker report for people who have joined in 2020, not anybody who's before that, but from 2020. So I can add that prompting in the report itself when I'm creating it. And when I launch it, I can accordingly change the report as per my requirement. If I don't want from 2020, I want it from 2000, I can add 2000 date. Okay, that's called prompting. So before we go further, okay, so what else we are going to see in this demo session? We will learn a little more about Workday. Yeah, what is Workday? Uh, then we will learn about where do we actually fit in Workday. Okay, we are going to learn Workday integration, right? So where do we fit in Workday? What do we do? Why do we do? Okay, so before we could start quickly, okay, I would like to know if any of you guys have gone any Workday functional course training. Any one of you? Or is this the first time you are going for a Workday training?
No, I have already taken one. Prior to this, I had the Workday training and I have the work experience. So I just wanted to see like because as the integrations is very good in the market and many of the recruiters are asking for it. So I thought okay, I would look into it. What does the integration look like?
Mhm. So you already have Workday functional experience.
Yes, yeah, like past like since few months I was working onto the Workday HCM function side. I was working on the Workday testing project. So now my contract got ended, so I'm looking out for different opportunities.
Hmm. Okay. How about others? Have you guys gone through any Workday functional training, or are you working with Workday functional HCM?
Hi Mohammed, Praveen is here, and even I had gone through the training of Workday HCM
Hmm. Okay.
function.
Okay, Pravi. How about Okay, Kishore, Krishna. Yeah, how about Krishna?
Yeah, Mohammed, very good morning. I don't have any knowledge on Workday integration. Just I had gone through the videos in YouTube classes. That's it.
Okay, have you worked? Do you have hands-on experience? Just a practice purpose in Tenant, Workday
Yeah, but
Tenant.
I have an experience in a different stream, not in a Workday integration. But
Mhm.
now I want to move into the Workday integration consultant.
Workday integration consultant. Okay.
Yeah, I have a experience in a different stream, not in Workday integration.
Hmm. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay. So, hi
yeah.
Ravi. We have Ravi joined. So, Ravi,
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning.
good
Yeah.
morning, Ravi. My name is Mohammed, and I'll be taking this demo session for you guys today. So, we were just discussing about our previous experiences. Have you gone through any sessions before for Workday function?
Yes, sir. Actually, I am going in the evening. Actually, it is going on. I have completed around 5 sessions. Worked at CM. Yes,
Mhm.
in the evening.
Okay. 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 So we are going to see Workday integration, right? So we are discussing about this course content, what we are going to cover in this 20 to 25 hours of session. Okay, very specifically, it's 20 to 25 maximum is going to be 30 minutes.
We are
Itself,
unable.
depending upon how you guys be on the class, as if you have lots of questions. Hello,
In between,
am I
we are
audible?
unable to. In between, we are unable to, hear your voice, sir.
Okay, let me change my network and see if it's working. Okay, so is it better? Is it better
Yes, sir.
now?
Yeah,
Okay.
better, but in between, it is going down your voice. Yeah, but
Hmm.
that's fine, sir.
Okay.
No problem. You can. Yeah.
Hmm. So I was telling you that we are going to take 2025 hours of integration training alone. Okay,
Mhm.
so the sooner you guys pick up, if you have more doubts or if we are repeating on topics, in that case we would take a little longer time. Else, we will be able to wrap it up in 25 hours.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we right now, right now, since this is a demo session in Workday integration, we will start. We will know what actually Workday is today. Okay, and we will see how do we fit it into Workday as a technical consultant or a functional consultant, or a HCM consultant or a data conversion consultant in Workday. We will see where do we actually fit in after we are done with this course. And the other thing would be, if you guys have any questions, kindly you guys have to stop me and ask me then and there. Okay, it should not be like uh, I will ask tomorrow or maybe after the classes are over, I can ask. No, it should be like then and there. If you have any questions on any transactions which are being done, you can just ask me then and there. So I will quickly again repeat this. So before Ravi could join, we just had quick discussion on this as what we are going to cover in each topic. So we are going to see reporting overview and integration overview on our first class when we start. And we will learn how do we find a report in Workday? How do we, what are the different types of reports in Workday? What is the purpose of each and every report? And we will see how do we use tags in report, how do we search for reports, and how do we differentiate what can be edited and what cannot be edited in a report. Okay, and then the major part of integration comes. Okay, the first important thing is custom report. It is part of integration, where we will learn how to create a custom report. Okay, say for example, we want to create a report for all the employees in a organization, in a company, or we want worker all the employee reports for benefits purpose. Okay, so how do we create such kind of reports? We will see what are the different data sources, what are the different primary business objects, and what you actually mean by business object or a data source. We will see all of this when we are running into creation of custom reports. And we will also see how do we use various types of business objects, different business objects in a same report. How do we swap between the business objects? How do we use related business objects or primary business objects? How do we add filters or sorting? How do we sort uh, the report? How do we add filters at the initial level itself while we are creating? Or how do we add filters, sub filters? We will see that. How do we add prompts while creating a report? I was just telling that there's a runtime data prompt. When you run a report or you launch a report, you can give certain prompts. So once, as per your requirement, the input which you feed in, as per that, the report will be run. Okay, it's not necessarily that if the report you have built has 1,000 employees in it, data of all 1,000 employees, it's not necessary that every time you run you would get 1,000 employees. You can change it as per your requirement based on the prompting which you add in the report. Okay, the best example is say for example, in an organization there are 1,000 employees working. So you have created a report to generate all 1,000 employees data, personal information, dependent information, compensation, all that, right? So when you add a prompt, and when you add a prompt while creating a report, and when you run the report, it will ask you for some specific date. Okay, so if you feed in the data for 2020, okay, so it will pull only 2 years of data. If you add 2018, it will give you 4 years of data. Okay, so like that we can go ahead and add this prompt and change it during runtime itself. Then we would go ahead and let me quickly then we would see about report securities. Okay, we will see how Workday security model works in terms of reporting. Okay, who can create, copy, or delete the custom reports? Yeah, that's how we will give access to different people or different integration security users. How do we schedule a report? Okay, how do we monitor or schedule a report? When I say schedule a report, say for example you're creating a report today, and every day morning by 10 o'clock, whatever the data has changed the day, for that particular day, the report has to go to the manager. Okay, so you can actually add that scheduling with just one report which you create. Every time it will run and it will give the current data. Whenever it runs, the current data, whatever is there in this Workday system, it will be delivered to the concerned person, manager or director or HR, anybody. Okay, so that's the purpose of scheduling a report. And how do we monitor it? Okay, we will see all of this. So before we go further, as how we can add different calculated fields in the report, we will just quickly see basics of Workday. So what is Workday? What is Workday tool? It's a question for you.
It's an ERP.
right? It's an ERP tool, okay? And in very simple language, Workday is a source of truth. It is built on a concept called as source of truth. Okay, when I say source of truth, what actually does this mean? Okay, this means that any and every information in Workday can be extracted through a data source. Okay, so we can extract, you can simply write it as, we can extract information from Workday using data source. Okay. So we call this Workday system as source of truth, and the reason is we can extract any information from Workday using data sources. So the same concept we are going to apply here in reports. When we discuss reports, we will see how do we use our data source to pull up the information from the system for any necessary purpose. Okay, for benefits or for compensation or for employee, for termination. Okay, so we will see not all of this, but we will see how do we use a data source so that you can practice yourself various types of data sources uh, and see how it works. Okay, we will majorly see the very important data source in Workday, which is worker. Okay, we will see that once we have the session confirmed and when we start. We will also go ahead and see different reports, as we were discussing about reports in our initial, when we were discussing about reports initially, we were seeing about custom reports, we were seeing about different types of standard reports. So we will know, we will learn more about these Workday delivered reports. When I say delivered reports are called as standard reports in Workday. Okay, delivered reports are called as standard report in Workday. Either you call them as standard report, either you call them Workday delivered report. It's all the same. Now, how would you know whether this is a standard report or Workday delivered report, or it is a custom report? How would you know that? Okay, it's very easy to find out. The concept is, when you buy a mobile phone, okay, the simple concept, when you buy a mobile phone, Android or iPhone or any other phone, it has certain inbuilt applications. You don't have to install, you cannot delete them, you cannot do anything. It is already there in the phone. For example, alarm, messages, yeah, and then a couple of more applications. When you get a phone, when you switch it on, automatically those applications will be there in the phone. Okay, similarly in Workday, Workday gives the client, whenever client purchases Workday, Workday will give client a set of reports, lots of reports, which are Workday developed. Okay, they develop for the client and they will give it to them. So you cannot say no, I don't want it. Right? Those are default delivered by Workday itself. You can use those reports on your daily life. As a client, I can use those reports if I want, and I can just run the report. I can see the data I want, or I can even schedule it. I can download, I can send it. Okay, so that is Workday standard report. But when it comes to custom report, right, you download so many applications from Play Store. So that's the concept. You develop the report as per your requirement. Say my requirement in my Android mobile phone is to download Truecaller. Okay, so I will go ahead and download, because my phone does not provide that, but I want, that is my requirement, so I'm downloading it, right? So the same concept here in Workday, it's called custom report. When I create my own report as per my own requirement, that becomes custom. Okay, it's a custom report. I can add various fields, I can delete, I can modify the heading, everything I can do. But in standard report, it is not possible to do all these modifications. Although you can copy the report, right? You can copy a standard report to develop a new report for yourself, but to change the actual Workday delivered report, it's not possible. So in order to build these reports, the reports which we are discussing called as custom reports, in order to build these reports, we can use different types of calculated fields, right? There are lots of calculated fields available. Some important calculated fields are here. Okay. These calculated fields are basically used for, these calculated fields are basically used to do any necessary arithmetic calculations or modifications based on your requirement. To understand this in a simple language, say you want a report, okay, you're developing a custom report wherein you have employee data, the hire date of the employee, and you know that this particular company has a probation period, okay, probation period of 30 days. So what you want is, your requirement is, the client has asked you to develop a report with probation period, which is 30 days, right? He wants to see in an Excel sheet or in the output file which you send the client, the hire date, and in the next column, he wants to see when is the probation period getting completed for all the list of employees who joined maybe today. Okay, today is 30 June. So whosoever joined today, the client wants to see when is their probation period getting over. Okay, so why I'm telling you this is, maybe here in India it is 30 days or 60 days, in US it is different, in France it is different. Okay, so you have the total list of employees joining today in one company. So how would you use these calculated fields? You can, there are various operations. Every calculated fields have a different purpose. Okay, you have arithmetic calculated field, increment, decrement, date, format, date, count, all these calculated. There are more calculated fields, but these are some of the calculated fields which we are going to see. So in our example, what we can do is, we can simply increment or decrement the date. We can just add 30 days to our current date by just using this calculated field. And once we add this in our report, and when we run the report, it will show us 30 days plus from today's date. Okay. That's the purpose of these calculated fields. So that was just one example. We have different types of calculated fields. I would let you know the list of calculated fields. We have count related instance calculated. We will see how do we sum the related instance, how do we count the related instance, how would we do arithmetic calculation, plus minus subtraction. We'll see that, how do we use that in particular report. We will see all of that. And then once we are done with reporting, after that we can use the same reports, okay, the reports which we create, the same report will be used in our integrations. We will see how introduction to Workday integration. We will see the cloud platform, we will see web services, and we will learn theoretically. Initially, we will start with theory to understand the architecture of Workday, how it is implemented in cloud platform, what actually is the purpose. We will understand all of this. We will understand web services theoretically, as how do we use this web services, and what is the purpose, what is the output once we use a web service. Okay, so what is actually a web service? You guys have any idea? When I say web service, what actually do you mean by web service?
Getting data over the protocols, something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So the best example is, say we all use banking applications, right? Internet banking, online banking. The best example is when you go to your online banking, right? And you enter your username and you enter your password. So like you, there will be so many customers for the bank. Like us, there are so many customers for the bank. How does the system, just with the help of username and the password, just goes exactly to your account and never makes a mistake. Say, for example, you are entering your username and it is logging into my account. It does not happen. It just goes directly to your account, picks the data and gives you back immediately. How does it happen? This happens through web services. Okay, once you give a protocol, once you give any instruction, it will go pull up the data from the list of thousands of codes. It will go directly hit the code and it will take the data from there and it will deliver it to you. So this is the purpose of web services. And there are two types of web services. Right? We have SOAP, we have REST web services. Okay, we have SOAP and we have REST web services. So what comes under, in terms of Workday, right? We don't have to see anything which is outside Workday. In terms of Workday, what comes under REST, what comes under SOAP? Okay, so report as a service comes under REST. Okay, we saw these reports, right? These reports which we are creating here. So all this will come under REST. But when we talk about SOAP, Workday web services are SOAP. Okay, you can make note of this if you want to. This can be an interview question. What type of REST web services you use in Workday? So you can say reports as a service is specific to REST, whereas Workday web services are specific to SOAP. So when we are discussing theoretically, we will see all of this. Okay, we will see the basics of SOAP and all that, and then REST, and then we will start with the integration business process, right? This is going to be a little theoretical, where we will cover all of this points. We will see XML overview. Okay, for integration, you don't have to be a coder. Okay, you just need to know basic XML, XSLT, and that should do. Right, so for XML, XSLT, these are all different coding languages, right? So for this, you can just go to YouTube and you can learn from YouTube itself how to do the coding from XML to XSLT, or how to write XSLT codes. You can just learn from there. We will see the basic XML, XSLT conversions when we are creating an integration below, right? Then we will see about integration BPs, okay, business process. When I say business process, it is something which defines a company's process flow. Okay, a company's way of executing a process, that's called business process. Okay, say for example, every company has one standard thing, which is they will hire an employee, they will terminate an employee. Okay, but to hire an employee, every company has a different process, right? So that is called a business process. Every company has a different types of business processes to perform any action in that company. That is called business process. So we will see about integration business processes. We will see document transformation, which is one of the integration. DT, we call this as DT. We will see how to make this DT. Then we will jump into EIB, one of the integrations which we will learn. We will see inbound EIB, outbound EIBs. We will see how do we use web services in our EIB, how do we change the file name and all that. We will see all of that. And then, as I told you, we will see basics of XML, XSLT. How we will learn how do we use those reports, the custom report which we created initially on top. How do we use those reports, convert them to XML and XSLT, and use those reports and transfer the data to the necessary server or the system. We will see all of that here in this. Okay, since we are in the training phase, okay, we are not going to interact with any live servers. Okay, we are not working for a client, so we will learn how do we transfer the data, what are the different modes of transferring the data, SFTP, FTP, or workday attachment, or email, or there are two more options. We will see how do we select those options and how do we transfer the data. But actually in real life you will be able to see the data transferred, but here you will not be able to see the data transferred but the process getting completed. Okay, our aim is to complete the process. So we will see all of that. And then the important part of integration is core connector. We will see how do we build these core connector, different types of things in core connector. These are all different options which we would select while building a core connector. We will see all of that. How do we do a change detection? How do we relaunch an integration after modification? And finally, we will see about security users. We call them as ISU. We will see about ISU. How do we create security integrations, security for these integrations? Okay, the way we have seen, we will see this report security, the same way we will see how we use security for integrations. How do we create them? How do we add them? So we have some more time, so let's quickly discuss about a little more details. One important thing is these are all Workday delivered. Okay, core connectors, EIB, all these options are in the tenant itself. In Workday tenant itself, you'll be able to find these options. Okay, but there is something called as there are other types of integration which the client has to purchase. Okay, the client will be purchasing himself. He has to pay extra money. It is very costly. So those types of integrations we are not going to cover in this. We are going to cover all the integrations which is belonging to Workday system, which you will find it in Workday system, which are the basics. Without that, you cannot do any integration. We are going to see those types of integrations like document transformation, EIB, core connectors. These three are very important in Workday delivered, as in built inside the Workday itself. So as someone said, Workday is an ERP tool. Okay. What is the other famous ERP tool in the market?
SAP.
It's SAP. So SAP is very famous. Mostly everybody knows about SAP. Even if they do not know whether it is an ERP tool, what is the purpose of it, but they know that there is something called as SAP in market. So now, but they do not know about Workday. If you say Workday system, most of the people, they might not know what it is. What is Workday? What actually you're talking? Workday is very like a layman's very simple word. Okay, SAP is little complicated. It looks like it is a tool, but Workday word itself does not look like a tool. Right? So now Workday is becoming more advanced nowadays because it is cloud based. Unlike SAP, Workday is totally cloud based. So this Workday is built on HCM, Human Capital Management. But this is, if somebody is asking you what is Workday tool, the right answer would be it's an ERP tool, but not HCM. Okay, mostly people would say it's an HCM tool. No, HCM is just a domain. Okay, HCM is a domain of Workday. But what is the purpose of Workday? That is ERP. So in Workday, you will have different domains. Okay, different types of domains, like HCM is one of it. Then you have absence, payroll, finance, compensation. So there are different types of domains inside Workday. We call them as modules. In Workday, we call them as modules. We have various modules: payroll module, finance module, absence, time off. These are different modules in Workday. So when we are talking about ERP tools, what is actually an ERP tool? What is the purpose of it? We
We
said
can do customizations and we can use as per our own business.
exactly. It is basically a connect. It is a connect or an integration between employee and the organization. You can do modifications in the tool and you can get the data. So if this question is asked, what is an ERP tool? You can say it's a enterprise resource planning tool which creates a connection or an integration between an employee and the organization, right? The best example is if you're working for a company where you have Workday or an ERP tool, SAP, okay, any learning which you will have to complete every quarter, okay, it will come via that particular tool, SAP or Workday or PeopleSoft. It'll come via that tool. That's the best example for you to understand what is the purpose of this ERP tool. It is a connection or an integration between employee and the organization. If you want to find pay slips, go to the ERP tool, Workday, get the pay slips. If you want to find any personal information of yours or add any benefits, go to Workday tool, add it. You want to add dependents, go to Workday tool, add it. So it's creating a connection between you and the company. Now the question comes, why do I use Workday? Why not SAP? Why Workday? Why Workday? Why do you want to use this? Why not SAP? Very simple. It is a cloud-based platform. It's a tool which is completely cloud-based. You will not need to have a big servers in your office setup. Everything is handled by Workday itself. You would have seen big server rooms in office, right? So if you're using a tool, so you'll have very big servers for some specific tools, so that the data is stored there. But here in Workday, what happens is you don't need that particular setup. It is cheap. You just need to purchase the Workday login from Workday company, and for your organization, they will do the implementation. They will do all the setups. Of course, they'll charge you, and once the setup is confirmed, they will deliver Workday system to your organization. You just have to log in. Any changes which you make in Workday, any data which I'm deleting or adding, any report which I'm creating, so all of this goes and gets saved in the cloud platform. Now, this does not mean that it does not have servers. It's just that your company does not have a server, does not require a server for Workday. Okay, you do not have to purchase big machines and keep it in your office for working with Workday. It's just that Workday itself has its own servers in various locations in all around the world, like Portland, Dublin, uh, in one or two more places. They have big servers where whatever data you do, whatever changes you do here in the system sitting in India, so that will be transferred to that server and it will get updated immediately. So when you log in today you do a change, tomorrow you log in, you'll find the same thing in the system. Nothing is deleted or nothing is gone. It is as it is. So that is one of the biggest advantage of this ERP tool. It is completely cloud-based tool. It is advanced. Okay, very cheap to maintain. Why I say cheap is because you don't have to purchase big servers and machines. And the other thing is it is very simple to learn. You don't need to be a Java. You don't have to learn a coding or OOPS concept, C++. All these are basics for coding, right? You don't have to learn all of that to do a Workday functional or Workday integration. In integration, there are, yes, little bit of XML, XSLT, but you can of course manage. This is our training course, training content. It will take 20 to 25 hours of training. Okay, the longer time we spend, the sooner it will get finished. Okay, it should not be a feel like, how did you guys finish in 20 days of integration training? We have spent lots of time. That's how we finished. Okay. Yeah, so
Sure,
that's a simple thing, right? We spend more time and then we finish more stuff, so we don't extend the days, but then we reduce the day, but we cover most things together. Okay.
yeah, sure, sir.
Tester. Okay, you'll have these types of different jobs available. You'll have Workday consultant, functional consultant, or techno functional consultant, something like that. Okay, so what will be the job of Workday functional is to understand the differences. To understand the differences here in these three, we will take an example of our mobile phones again. Okay, so you are using a Workday Android phone. Sorry, you are using an Android phone and your friend is using a iOS phone. Okay, so there are two phones now, two different companies, two different OS. You guys will be having your own experiences with that phone, right? You will be an expert in that phone. You will know how to use Android and your friend will know how to use iOS. But if you swap the phones, if you give your Android to him, you take his iOS, you think it is possible for you to be so comfortable using both the phones? Using, say for example, you have iOS now. Will you be able to use the iOS phone the way you are using Android? It's difficult. Okay, it's going to take time. So the same concept in functional. Okay, company, any organization, any company will have the system, will have the laptop, will have the server, will have everything. Okay, every setup. But to learn, to know Workday, they will employ somebody who already has an experience, already has a knowledge, is already trained, is already delivering Workday system in some other company. They will hire those kind of people in Workday in their company, and they will use their help to learn or to do any kind of changes which is required in their organization. So that is where our functional part comes. Okay, the knowledge which we possess, the information of how do we navigate Workday integration consultant. Same example of iPhone and Android. You are using an Android, your friend is using an iOS. Okay, you know how to operate, you know how, what is where, you know every setting. Okay, you are good in using that phone, but if that phone falls in water and now you're not able to switch it on, okay, what will you do? You will take that phone to somebody who can do the correction, right? You who can repair it. So the concept of integration comes here. If the Workday system is not working, okay, if the data is not getting transferred from one place to another place, from one system to another system, okay, when I say system, it is not necessarily Workday to Workday, from Workday to SAP, or Workday to third-party system, or third-party system to Workday, vice versa. If that data is not getting transferred, at that point of time, whom will you consult? You cannot consult a functional guy. Functional guy is, he knows everything. Okay, he knows how to do configuration, all that, but integration guy knows what actually the error is. So that is where integration consultants will fit in. Any issues with the integration, any issues in building up an integration, we will approach a consultant, integration consultant. Okay, now data conversion guy. What will the Workday data conversion guy do? Again, example of Android and iPhone. You are using an Android, your friend has an iPhone. Okay, now you guys have thought of getting a new mobile phone. Okay, now you wanted to get an iOS, you want to purchase an iOS phone, whereas your friend wanted to purchase an Android. Now currently you are using whatever phone, you have all your data in it. Okay, your contacts, your emails, everything is synced in it. Okay, your photos, everything. Now you have purchased an iPhone. How will you transfer the data from your Android to iPhone, or vice versa? That is what data conversion guy will do. The company which is not having Workday currently will be using some sort of applications. Okay, there will be lots of applications which he will be using for his own company, which will have all the data. Okay, any data, not just employees, any data. Okay, any documents or any data. Now the company has decided to purchase Workday and use Workday because it is easy. Everything, whatever reason it is, they want to use Workday. How will they transfer the data from their current system to Workday? That's what the data conversion guy will do. He will help to get the data transferred to Workday. There'll be some templates, there will be so many sessions. Okay, there'll be so much of copy paste work from one sheet to another sheet, so that both the templates uh, will match, will sync when the data is sent from third party system to Workday. Okay, so that's what the data conversion guy will do. And there is Workday tester. Workday tester is basically, he will do various types of testing in various types of phases. Okay, in implementation phase, when there is an implementation going on or configuration going on, or before launching, called as UAT, they will do performance testing, they will do unit testing, system testing, integration testing. Okay, so the testing, Workday tester will do this job. Okay, so any questions here? Anything which you did not understand here? Is your question
Yeah.
answered?
Yes. Yes. Yes, Mohammed.
Okay, so
Yeah, Mohammed. So in Workday integration, XML and HTML is a plays a major role, or like inbound outbound plays major role.
see, XML XSLT is just one part of coding which we are going to do, and that you guys have to learn separately. Okay, we will teach you how do we use it. We will teach you the basics of XML and XSLT. How do we do the transformation? But there is nothing called as which is major part. Inbound outbound. Inbound outbound is type of integration. Okay, XSLT is something which we will use in the integration.
Okay,
Okay, so
so
these are two different things.
okay, so I have to learn XML separately. Like some it is having like logics and something is there, right?
Yeah, those logics we will learn here. Okay, as I told you, whatever is required for that integration, logically, we will learn here. Okay, we will learn from basics of XML, but in depth and all that, that you'll have to learn separately, which is actually not required. You just need to do some basic XML, XSLT, that will do. In most of the companies, what is happening nowadays is they already have this conversion tool. Okay, already have an existing templates also, right? So you just need to copy paste it, change the data here and there a little bit, and the template is ready. XML XSLT is ready. Okay, so it's not going to be that difficult. Initially you might find it little hard, but when you keep working on it, you will not find it difficult. Anything else for me?
Yeah, got it, Mahin. Mohammed. Thank you.
Okay, so can we end this call, or do you guys have anything else for me?
Done from my side, Mohammed. Thank you.
Okay then.
Thank you.
Yeah, Suresh will give you more details once you contact him on this.
Sure, sir. Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, sir. Thank you. Good day. Bye-bye.